In pop culture, Nero is depicted as a power-hungry lunatic that burnt down Rome, but unfortunately, as we'll see, this reputation is undeserved and makes him one of the most misunderstood figures in history. Nero was born in the winter of 37 CE to Agrippina the Younger, the great-granddaughter of Augustus and niece to the Emperor Claudius. 8 years after Claudius' ascension, Agrippina poisoned her second husband and married Claudius. When he died, perhaps poisoned to death by Agrippina in 54 CE, she had the Praetorian Guard proclaim her son, the 17-year-old Nero, to be the next emperor. In Nero's early reign, he and his mother had a close relationship. However, they soon had a falling out due to his other personal advisors, the philosopher Seneca and Burrus, the commander of the Praetorian Guard, convincing him to act more independently. Nero also banned capital punishments, cut taxes, and dismantled the secret trials that had haunted many during the reign of Claudius during these early years. In 59 CE, tired of his mother's constant interference, Nero had her killed. The traditional narrative is that he tried to drown her first, but when this attempt failed and she swam ashore, he had her put to death in her country home. However, we have to remember that almost all that we have on Nero is written by later historians who weren't even alive during his reign, with the goal in mind of trying to slander him. In the words of Thorsten Oper, curator in the British Museum, quote, "Anything you think you know about Nero is based on manipulation and lies that are 2,000 years old." Similarly, the classic saying of, quote, "Nero fiddled while Rome burned" is also a fabricated tale. He wasn't even in Rome during that time. However, this tale may have had a basis in truth. You see, one of Nero's greatest plans was to demolish a third of Rome in order to build himself a sprawling complex called Neropolis. This was rejected vehemently by the Senate. So many thought it was very convenient that after the Great Fire, Nero had built himself a palace where the fire had cleared a spot. Suspicion soon turned towards Nero, who scapegoated the Christians in order to avoid blame, which also didn't help with his image later on. In the latter part of his reign, he was reported to have grown to be debaucherous and decadent, the two words ancient historians love to use to brand someone they don't like. These tales of debauchery are, quote, "exaggerated at best and fabricated at worst." His frequent clashes with the Senate made sure they hated him. But the common populace seemed to love him because he built lavish public works for them, as well as introducing new building legislation after the Great Fire, which greatly improved the quality of life. Unfortunately for Nero, the expenses from building said public works and the Great Fire kept on piling up, and he was forced to raise taxes and even take from religious offerings. In 64 CE, a rebellion led by the governor of Spain caused his support to crumble, and the Senate to denounce him as an enemy of the people. Nero chose to end his life, rather than wait for his inevitable downfall, and with his suicide, the Julio-Claudian dynasty would end, and the year of the four emperors would begin.